So the next question says, what if you are considering separating from or leaving your husband because of the in-laws?
I mean, what would make someone want to separate from their husband because of the in-laws? It means that maybe the man has not been standing up for the wife.
Say that again, please.
I said might mean that the husband has not been standing up for the wife.
Right. So if a woman feels, so you're talking about.
Oh, excuse me, guys.
So she's talking about just wife. For some reason, she forgot husband. Can you imagine?
Oh, because the question said from the
focus
husband.
on what you're doing, Joe.
No, the question says from the husband.
I'm just kidding, baby. You're right, though. I didn't see that part.
Hello.
What if you're considering separating from or leaving your husband? Okay, so she's right. That's see, I was already picking. So if you're considering leaving your husband because of the in-laws, all right. Oh, this is a deep one. I'm stylishly waiting for her to come back, but let me just try to address this really quickly. Plus, all that door is distracting me too.
Sorry.
That's okay. I will just make sure that again, as usual, let's go back to why the fallout, what happened, and make sure it's not something that you're carrying over to another relationship. What happens when there's 76% of couples who remarry after divorce? 76, not 50. So 50% average. Studies show that 50% are ending up in divorce, right? But those that remarry, divorcees, 76% of them end up divorcing again. Okay. So, and that's usually because they carry the issues over to another relationship. So they are busy pointing fingers, as natural as it should be, right? They point fingers. That's the natural state of human beings. It's somebody and someone else is something else's fault, right? And it could be, but when you focus on that, it doesn't really allow you to get into a place where you don't have the room. You have a blind spot now. You don't have the room to really look at yourself and say, how might I have how did that contribute? Right? How did that contribute into this matter? Right? How did that contribute into whatever is going on? You have a blind spot. You can't figure that out. You can't. You're not even willing to look at that because, again, naturally, it's just somebody else and something else's fault, right? So I will say that you want to make sure that it's a lost cause, like it's a situation that you feel like no, I've worked on myself and this person is sick, or they're not like for example, I'll give you an example, a very simple example. If you're the one that's fighting for the marriage and the other person doesn't care about fighting for the marriage, right? Now, make sure you define fighting for the marriage properly, because they may be fighting for the marriage in a way that they just don't know how to fight, right? But if they want to be in the marriage, is essentially what I'm trying to say. Even if they are fighting the wrong way, if they want to be in the marriage, I would make sure that we go see a certified counselor and we take our time and go through multiple sessions with the counselor and or a coach, right? And then figure out what the root cause of the issues are. Because the worst thing you want to do, again, 76% of people that remarry end up divorcing because they take the same issues to another relationship. Okay? So you don't want to just carry the issues that may be responsible for the breakdown in your marriage. You don't want to carry that to another relationship. You want to make sure that you sort that out first before you go on. But what did you say before? Because I wanted to make sure I incorporate that. What did you say before?
About what I said, looks like the husband has not been standing up for the wife.
We don't know that. We're talking to the wife.
Could be.
It could be. And that's why what I said before you left is that make sure that it's a situation that you've worked on yourself and you notice that person is sick, or they can, like, for example, they don't want to love you. They don't want to be in a marriage. You don't want the person that doesn't want you, period. Correct. Okay? If you feel like you want them right now, it's because rejection breeds obsession. Okay? Once your mind is clear, maybe you don't want this person. Okay?
Love yourself.
But if this person wants this marriage, and you guys are just going through you're arguing all the time, and you're arguing, and you're fighting the wrong way, right? If that's the issue, I will make sure I get through, sort that issue out, so I don't carry at least 50% of the issues to another relationship.
It'll be recycled issues.
Right, because for the most part, like I said, 76% studies show divorce.
Yes.
After remarrying again, because they carry this. The issue follow is a shadow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The question here, before I address this question, let me just see if there's anything. Okay, we got a question here. Let's address that question first. From Delina, aka Niku's baby. Yawo Mo.
Oh my God! Now you're calling her out.
She already said hobby. She called herself earlier. How?
Oh
She
my
said hobby is
God!
How do we say no to an in-law considering staying with the family for a long time? That's a deep one.
Depends on the circumstance.
What is the circumstances?
Yeah.
Are they sick? As in, like, physically? And yeah, if an in-law is staying with you for a long time, and this is not what you want. If this is not what you want, it's not enough. If the spouse also doesn't want it, then there are two ways I would look at it. Okay, there are some things that happen in life that we don't get to control. Some of them are the example in that story we gave earlier, the accident, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have an elderly person that's living with you, and they're just elderly, and they have to live with you, right?
You don't have that choice.
Right. You gave an analogy earlier. You said if your hand was paining you, you're not just going to cut it off.
Mm-hmm.
You will deal with it and find a way to live with it, unless they say it's dangerous to the other cells in your body,
right,
and then they have to amputate.
Right.
So I would say, if it's a mother-in-law, father-in-law situation, and like a lot of Nigerians have that issue where they're in America with you, and they have to kind of stay with you, right? I would say find it in you to make it work, and treat that like your opportunity to give to the other spouse. Okay. That's that specific situation.
Yeah.
Okay. There are multiple different ways this can happen. Okay.
What if it's an abusive in-law?
No, you can't. I can't be helping you and you're abusive.
Okay.
So if the person is abusive and they're staying with us, what do we mean? Is that verbally, emotionally? What I would do is I would have the son of that person address that, or the daughter of that person address that. That's what I would do. I'm thinking it through, because it's really, there's no one size fits all.
What if
right?
They don't see it that way. They're like, that's just mommy. This is what mommy do. Mommy just act out sometimes.
Then we have a problem.
Okay.
And it's good that you point that out, because we
real.
always want to address things from a crisis standpoint. Not that we love crisis, because people deal with these issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
We always want to address that from someone who's going through a crisis issue, right? I wonder which Aragbaye is that. Is that Adiola? If that's you, say what's up.
It looks like an Adiola because it's a Aragbaye.
Does the person look like the Woli with a white sutana on?
I don't know this person. Excuse me.
It's probably him. Yeah.
Hi.
But he said what's up. Yeah, that's probably him.
Oh.
Yeah. But if the person is if this person is abusive with their words, they're abusive emotionally, from an emotional standpoint, they have to be in your life, I would treat them like a person that has to be in your life, and you have to address, what's up, bro? Long time. It's Adiola. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You have to treat, like, this is your harm, right? And this harm always, like, for example, for me, there was a time that the nerves were acting up, whatever, Capatona, what do you call it? Right? I couldn't. It's just a simple issue, but I didn't understand it at first. But I had to deal with it, and I had to learn how to deal, because I was typing so much,
same way, right, all the time.
So, and I had to deal with it, right? So, if that person has to be in your life, or has to be in your spouse's life, if you love your spouse, which I'm guessing you do, then you have to treat it that way. However, how you approach your spouse about it, you have to do it with respect to how your spouse feels about their mother or their father, anything like that. So if you know they love, you're not just gonna say, your mother did this yesterday again. No, all of that is you're going to create additional negative energy, right? And you're still not going to get what you want. You're going to create more of what you're already getting, right? Which is negative, right? So I would say it really depends on the situation because there's no one size fits all. If there are other options, let's say there are siblings where they could stay with, I will explore those options as well.
Yes.
If it's a toxic situation, if they are leaning on you because they feel like you're the leader of the household, or they feel like your spouse is the leader of the household, which usually means the weight is too much. Because when they feel like they can trust you, sometimes the weight can be too much.
It can be.
They feel like you are the leader, you are the more of them.
You are the firstborn.
Right? And then they
firstborns,
they tend to call you for everything. They call you to fix every computer.
Is it a sin to be a firstborn? I'm just don't mind me, guys.
So it depends. You have to use lots of wisdom. But if everything, like if it's completely terrible situation where the person is sick, right? It's your opportunity to give, and just keep in mind that it's probably temporary anyway. So, for example, you may have an old person. Maybe in the next 10 years, 15 years, they get old and they go somewhere else, another world entirely, another planet, but we're not praying for that. But again, when you find joy in giving, okay, somebody mentioned something here on Instagram earlier, and I want to make sure I mentioned that. So Victor Knight says, once you don't have a relationship with your family, you do what you wanna give a relationship. I'm not sure, because you can't give what you don't have. Like, yes, and that's applicable here too.
It is.
If you have the space and you can give. Sometimes that means you have to be resourceful. That means you have to squeeze out space out of where there's no space, because there's really no other choice. That's like your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, and they have to stay, right? If it's just some random uncle that want to come and stay,
accuse me? Yeah, sorry, excuse me.
So I wanted to discuss all of the.
It depends on the random uncle's issues. Like, what's going on?
Or random cousin. I call them random because it's random to the in-law, because that's the in-law that's.
Right. Even worse, entitled human being.
Entitled, and they're already here and they're staying forever. You need to help. Okay, I've had a few situations where people stay with me. What I did is I helped them get on their own feet.
Yes, so help them plan something out.
Yes.
How long?
What is the plan?
Yes.
How are we going to go about it?
That makes sense.
We said you're going to stay for 3 months, and let's try to go for 2 months. Let's see if we can get you a job. If 3 months extend, maybe extend to 4 months now, 5 months. But if you leave that hanging, first of all, if they came to stay with you and they don't know the surrounding the area, or they don't know America, I'm assuming it's just America. It could be anywhere.
No, it could be anywhere.
The reason why they're staying with you is they need to get on their feet. That's the bottom line, right?
Yes, people come from the eastern part or the west or the northern to Lagos. Right. What's your plan? Yeah,
what's the plan? If they don't have a plan, help them come up with a plan. You're giving. Again, give.
Yeah, because honestly, when we were growing up, we had uncles and aunties that would stay for a very long time. Like, it's like a norm in Nigeria, and it shouldn't have to be, because it does impact relationships too.
Now, let's address the last one I'm going to address on that. What if it's a minor and auntie, your husband's older sibling, says her son or daughter should go and stay with you guys? That's common in Nigeria too. That's very common in Nigeria. If that's the situation, I will hope that you have a husband who will discuss that with you and see if that's okay with you.
Yes.
If it's not okay with you, it's not okay with you. They need to they need to explore other options. Now, if you have a husband that doesn't that does not consider your opinions at all,
sad.
That problem is not that baby that's coming to you guys. The problem is your marriage.
Yes.
You need to address that accordingly. Again, there are multiple layers. Sometimes you want to make sure you separate the layers and address the issue. The issue is you have a marriage where a person does not consider your wishes, or even check with you. That will cause resentment. Even if you're not a talker, you don't talk, that will cause resentment over time, and you will act out in other ways, and you won't even know what's going on, and both of you are not happy. Yeah. So I hope I answered that question. If I didn't, please ask subsequent questions to get through it. The next question here is... okay, the next question here says,
do mother-in-laws ruin marriages?
Before we get to that, Christy says it has to be same for every family member, doesn't matter who.
Mm.
Yeah, except the exception that I said, if somebody is sick or they are
Sick,
too old,
right.
you have to just treat that like your hand that's hurting.
I mean, except if you
Yeah.
have somewhere you can put them, like maybe like in America, you have nursing homes.
Well, that costs money.
That costs exactly. That's money out of your pocket.
My wife, that costs money.
No, I'm just saying. Options, you know.
That's another
Depends
option.
on
If
your
you can
pocket.
afford it, if you can afford it, that's another option.
Because
Mhm.
let's keep it real. When you have to take care of someone else with everything you got going on, it's a lot of work.
Let me keep it real.
And most people, let me just attack on the man. Like they're not gonna help out. It's the wife doing everything. Come on, man. You gotta help out a little bit.
Let me keep it real. Anything I just said is easier said than done. Okay. But if you know that you value your marriage, you would weigh the options.
Yes.
And then see, like, okay, I guess this is what comes with my awesome husband, right? This is what comes with my beautiful wife. I have to deal with that. Just look at it from a standpoint of giving as much as you can. That's easier said than done, but it's the only way to attract eternal joy. All right. How's is gonna stay with? Okay, we answered that. All right. So this is another answer. Set restrictions for both families on the length of stay. Yeah, in the way of help them as a plan. So let's not call it restrictions. The same thing, you call it a different name, suddenly changes meaning entirely, and it creates a better
it's like
outcome.
A soft landing.
It's a soft landing, right? Because you land on them the wrong way.
Another thing is our people. I mean, we not even our people. We what's it called, babe?
Okay, let's go to the next question. What did you remember?
We can make we can make a big deal out of a small thing. So you can say one thing and it can mean 1,000 things. We can read meanings out of stuff. So we want to use soft landings when dealing with in-laws and all this. I mean the issues.
In the book we talked about you have the power to attach meanings to everything, right? Now, from your standpoint, how you give out words, you now have to worry about the other person receiving it too.
You want to be sensitive.
Yeah, they have the power, but for most people don't exercise that power because they don't know they have the power. But you want to be sensitive to how you say what you say. Basically,
you don't want to be blunt. I mean,
that's the only problem I have with words like boundaries too. It's not like there's no boundary. It's how you go about it, right? If I ask my wife, we need some boundary in this household, she's not going to receive that well. I'm going to be like, boundary, your father. No, she doesn't say my father. But
like our dad. Yeah, that's our
like
father.
your dad. And I can still command boundaries and have boundaries in place without using that word.
Yeah.
Boundaries are absolutely necessary. Just want to keep in mind
you got to know how to seduce your spouse. You have to know how to get what you want.
You have to use seduction, okay? Not just I speak blunt. I speak blunt will destroy your marriage.
The blunt speakers. I can't.
All right, so